This is a clouds weather alert.
Good late Monday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now, following a severe outbreak situation across much of the eastern part of the country. Not necessarily seeing a severe threat toward our area right now, though there are some stronger storms trying to develop. But we're really focusing on a national story right now because it is so significant. That's why the logo is red, though. Also, another factor in that was our excessive heat, a warning here on play for many of our counties today with those heat index values in North Florida, South Georgia, just really excessive there, well into the 110s. So a lot going on here, and that's what we're doing this special coverage right now on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. I know some of this threat here will concentrate a little bit more towards South Georgia tomorrow. We'll be watching that here, of course, in the Weather Center, and we could have some scattered storms here that could get a little bit stronger here as we look ahead, even later in the timeline, maybe towards South Georgia, even getting some rogue warnings here. So just something to kind of keep our eyes on as we watch here later on in toward the timeline. We'll be paying attention to it all there for you in the Weather Center. Right now, 4 tornado warnings though across the country. 4 tornado warnings here across the country at this point in time. I know we're kind of keeping tabs on all of those. There's also severe thunderstorm warnings that are pretty significant too, though. I know those are a pretty big deal, so we just have to continue to watch things. I know Knoxville got hit really hard earlier on there in eastern parts of Tennessee, East Tennessee here. Seeing the impact from these storms here that were pretty substantial over that way. So again, getting there, a lot of power outages in toward that region. A lot of power outage reports. So we want to just keep our eyes on things. Let's start off with a destructive severe thunderstorm threat right now towards some of these different areas at this point in time. This is east of Harrisonburg there in Virginia, east of Harrisonburg. We're going to go ahead and try to give you a look at that right now on our other source if we can. You can see here there's that polygon as we're getting there, where it has that orange and that black there. We have those coming together, really indicative of a more substantial threat here as we get toward that part of that state where we could have 80-mile-an-hour winds here, not out of the question, toward the communities of Stanley, Ida, Skyland, Sperryville, or Sperryville, depending on that local pronunciation, and Woodville in Virginia. So again, a nasty situation there. Want to be an issue by the Baltimore, Maryland, Washington D.C. office. So again, just continuing to follow things here with that on that Doppler perspective. Just wanted to see that view real quick. Might not go back to that view too many more times since there's just a lot going on here. We'll do it a different way, maybe with the severe threat, because a lot of these are already considerable warnings here as we're looking across parts of the country. So again, let's just continue to watch things here very carefully. I'll go ahead and step out of the way just real quick here. They go ahead and zoom in just a bit here. You can see these temperatures a little cooler further back toward the west there. Several tornado watches on the board here. Some severe thunderstorm warnings that are pretty substantial as well. So we're just going to go ahead and keep watching things here in the Weather Center. Let's just go ahead. You see some of the different red boxes scattered around there. Scattered around. Definitely an important storyline to follow there for sure. So again, we're just going to keep watching that here in the Weather Center. As we have all these different alerts. I mean, really, you can just have trouble knowing exactly where to start or to finish at. So again, let's just go ahead. We're just going to keep on monitoring the situation here. In fact, let's go ahead and pull up some tornado safety tips here so folks kind of get an idea of exactly what they need to do in these type of situations. When you have a tornado warning, I'm putting on a 600 inside that sturdy building. I'm going to touch on those tornado warnings here in just a second. The actual areas underneath those. Get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Protect yourself from flying debris by putting on a bicycle helmet here. We're just going to have to go ahead and continue to watch things there in that regard towards certain parts of the country here at this point in time. So again, Just continuing to give you guys the very latest on what is going on towards certain areas here. Let me go ahead and get back on over toward the maps right now, and you can see again we have 5 tornado warnings on the board now. Let's go ahead and touch on this one here. This got extended from the area around Staunton, Virginia. This is a radar indicated tornado threat here. As we're looking further on over, we have Nelson County as well as Rockingham County in there. Albemarle County there, Augusta, city of Staunton, and the city of Waynesboro there in Virginia. Underneath this tornado warning that just got issued by the Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C. office until 5 o'clock. So again, just going to continue to watch that as we look up toward the north here, west of Washington, D.C. By a pretty good ways. You have this tornado warning. You see Washington down there, but Washington D.C. itself is over toward the east here. You can see this area with this tornado warning on Piper areas like Warren County there. So with thunder, some people are producing a tornado over Linden, Virginia, or near Front Royal, moving east at about 40 miles an hour. And then we're going to go up toward the north right now with tornado warning. A couple of them actually west of Scranton. In Pennsylvania, you see a tornado warning box for Sullivan County, eastern parts of that county, north central Pennsylvania, at about 5 o'clock. And then we're going to go ahead and look there. We have another tornado warning in Pennsylvania. This is in county, it's called Bradford County, Pennsylvania, but nothing to do with Florida. We're in Bradford, Florida, ironically, but Bradford, Pennsylvania. There's another Bradford County, a possible tornado in that area. That warning being issued and updated by the Binghamton, New York office. So a lot going on right now. 2 red boxes there, 1 in between, and then the 2 there toward areas around Staunton. So again, just continuing to watch things very carefully. Of several significant severe thunderstorm warnings in place. Even one out toward Colorado, believe it or not. I'm looking at other stores, but one of these here for several counties, in fact, with a potential for 70-mile-an-hour winds in there. 70-mile-an-hour winds. And we have eastern Washington County in north central Maryland, Carroll County, north central Maryland, with western Howard County, towards central Maryland, Montgomery County there, as well as Frederick, northwestern Baltimore there. And let me go ahead and that's Baltimore County, of course, as we go ahead and get on in here a little bit tighter with this. So Loudoun County in northern Virginia, northeastern Fairfax County in northern Virginia, east central Clark County in northwestern Virginia, and southeastern Jefferson County in the Panhandle, West Virginia. 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts possible, quarter-size hail. Germantown, Frederick, Rockville, Bethesda, Gaithersburg, Reston, some highly populated areas under the severe thunderstorm warning right now. Again, this is again for the potential for 70-mile-an-hour winds. Apparently, emergency management is reporting widespread wind damage with this line of storms across Maryland and northern Virginia. So again, that's kind of the storyline there right now. What's been going on over the last little bit with that severe thunderstorm warning situation. There's that destructive one we talked about over Culpeper County, Madison, Page counties there in parts of Virginia. That's a pretty big storyline there. A pretty big storyline there in the part of that state. So again, I'm just going to continue to watch things here as the timeline does go along. We're just keep getting more and more updates in here to the Weather Center. So just going to have to keep looking at things. This is east of Harrisonburg there in Virginia right now. So again, let's just see what we have. We have a bunch of warnings there. Some west of Charlotte there. North of Atlanta, we have severe thunderstorm watches getting extended down into central Georgia now, including Macon. You see Augusta in there as well. 9-hour coverage area at this point. Have some storms developing, Bradford and Florida where we're at, and Alachua and Marion counties here, Putnam. Nothing too serious right now. That's not why we're on. That's not why the logo is red. But thought we'd touch on Muscus Max and developing in parts of Jefferson County near I-10. But again, looking there north of Atlanta, a lot of wind concern there. Looking, it looks like some of these are considerable polygon types. I have another source here if you're wondering, because I don't have it delineated on this source right now. But again, looking there north of Atlanta, the polygon there, that's for 60. Cherokee, Forsyth, Dawson, Hall, and Bartow. Those counties. We also have a situation here, as we have several reports of damage there, northwest of Cornelia, east of Dahlonega there, reports of wind damage right now. So again, just continuing to give you guys the very latest on that. You can see there, let's check some of these out. A tree was down there in White County, Georgia, another one there in that county, and a third one there as well. So these storms definitely causing some problems. I know looking there at least a little while ago, they warned for Habersham over toward Rabun and Coney counties. There was a considerable one. As you see, a new tornado warning pop up in Alabama now. Let's go ahead and see though that Georgia area that I was talking about, Rabun County. Let's see what we have that threat there in play right now. Again, checking the latest here as the situation does go along. We keep just getting updates in there all over the place here. Okay, that one is still for 70 for Habersham, Rabun, and Oconee County. That's Oconee County, South Carolina, by the way. Habersham and Rabun in Georgia, though. Severe thunderstorms located along the line extending from 3 miles southwest of Silver to 11 miles southeast of Franklin to 9 miles northwest of Clayton, moving east at 40 miles an hour. Just again, nasty situations and winds could approach hurricane strength in that area right now. I know we're kind of jumping all over the place. This is such a big deal. We have 5 tornado watches in play. This is very, very unusual for early August here. We rarely see situations like this develop here, with the tornado threat being as high as it is, the severe thunderstorm threat being as high as it is, and being this widespread in terms of the coverage of these storms here. So, okay, so we got a tornado warning in Alabama. Let's touch on that right now. This is north there, about pretty good ways of Anniston. This is a tornado warning there. Looks like for areas there around Marshall County at 316, a severe thunderstorm was located over Geraldine, or it looks like 11 miles northeast there of the community of Boer. If I'm mispronouncing these, or excuse me, Boaz. I can't see that very well, but Boaz there, moving east about 55 miles an hour. Albertville, Fort Payne, Boaz there, Rainsville, Crossville, Fife, Geraldine, Pine Ridge, Lakeview, Little River Canyon, National Park in there as well. So again, just continuing to watch that situation. I'm very careful of there. Severe thunderstorm located over Geraldine, or about 11 miles northeast of Boaz there, moving east about 55 miles an hour. So possible tornado in there right now. Let me go ahead and get back on over here toward the other radar source. We'll go ahead and try to give you guys a visual here what's going on. You can see west of Fort Payne there, we have some greens and reds trying to come together southwest of town. Around it looks like Colbrand maybe, or north of Pottersville. That's where we have some greens and reds trying to come together here. Looking off the high top radar, again, you can kind of see there what we're talking about. Right in there, maybe right in there. I mean, it's really broad in some ways, and just everywhere in this polygon, everyone in this polygon needs to take different precautions here, just in case, because it's not the easiest thing to see here as we're looking at things. There, that could move into northwest Georgia later on. That'll be something to watch. They have their own problems already there, though. With a severe thunderstorm warning in play there. For areas of Floyd, Gordon, Polk, and Chautauqua counties there until about 5 o'clock. A 60-mile-an-hour wind gust possibility over in that direction. So again, we're just going to have to keep watching things there. Let's see what else we might need to cover. So I want to go to the overview real quick while I have a chance, or even if we don't really have a chance, let's just go ahead and do it, because this is important to the viewers at home, obviously, to see where that moderate risk is. This is what we're on. We rarely get this, especially for this part of the country and this time of year. It's wind driven. Tornado threat though is higher than you would really ever expect here in parts of this area too. But the wind driven aspect of this is what is really the storyline. Roanoke down to 4 out of 5 risk for severe weather. You rarely see this. Charleston, West Virginia. I mean, you see some stuff already kind of came through there. They very rarely get threats like this. Already some wind damage there, western side of town, some power lines down in the road there. And as we look around, you can see Lynchburg, Virginia. You see Charlottesville. There's a tornado warning just west there. The University of Virginia, northwest a little bit. You have Washington, D.C. under this risk. Again, this is more like what you get in the Midwest there. Maybe a little bit lower tornado threat, but in terms of a 4 out of 5 risk for severe weather, very rare for Washington, D.C. You have Baltimore in here as well. Baltimore, Maryland. Again, these are people here as we're looking toward these different communities that are just not really used to dealing with severe weather situations to this magnitude. These different communities here as we look there, I mean, you're not used to this here as we're looking Washington D.C. Getting towards some of these different neighborhoods here. You see Manassas there. You have Fredericksburg. You have Culpeper. You have Charlottesville. Again, as I referenced, this is very rare to have this type of potential for severe weather in play. So again, you really gotta be paying attention here. You even have a 3 to 5 for Richmond. That's something that's a little more often in terms of happening as we're looking toward that area there in Virginia. But again, a situation here that we're just going to have to continue to monitor. 3 tornado warnings in the country right now. Again, that one there in Alabama, radar indicated. All these are radar indicated. At this point, this is right on the edge of the risk areas, by the way. I mean, the risk just got updated, but still, this warning there, this tornado warning, looks like we're still following this threat there. Again, looking towards some of these different communities. So let's see here. That's kind of odd the way that updated on me here. So I want to make sure we're getting the very latest information out to you guys. So again, let's see here. That was kind of peculiar the way that changed on me there real quick. But again, let's just go ahead and continue to watch things. So the tornado warning going to 4 o'clock there at 3:30. So thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 7 miles north of San Roque, or 8 miles southwest of Fort Payne. So we have southeastern parts of the county, including the following locations under this tornado warning threat now. At this point, we're talking about Lebanon, over Pine Ridge, Dogtown, Gath, Colbrand, Adamsburg, Peaks Corner, DeSoto State Park, Little River Canyon National Park, and Mentone there. Apparently, that's how you pronounce that. So, again, just continuing to watch things here right now, continuing to give you guys the latest. I see this now an 80-mile-an-hour warning for areas toward Baltimore County, Maryland. So let's go ahead and get up there. Now we have a bunch of warnings. It's kind of tricky here. We're trying to cover the best we can here for you, the best we can. So again, let me go ahead and just continue to watch things here. We're trying to give you the latest. Let me go ahead and try to give you guys the very latest of what's going on here toward areas that are pretty populated. So let me go ahead and tell you what that warning is entailing. So we're talking about 80-mile-an-hour winds toward Baltimore County in northern Maryland. So now, and some of these other counties as well, destructive storms for southern Frederick, northern Montgomery, western Howard, and southern Carroll counties in central Maryland. We're talking about Germantown, Frederick, as well as Gaithersburg, Damascus there, Harry Grove Stadium, Ellicott City, Aspen Hill, Randallstown, Montgomery Village, over toward it looks like Eldersburg, Mount Airy there, Walkersville, Skysville, Oakland, Newmarket, and Green Valley. So 80-mile-an-hour winds possible there for southern Frederick and northern Montgomery County and western Howard County and southern Carroll County there in central Maryland. That can cause widespread power outages. That's a big concern, you're looking at with this right now. So again, that's your storyline there. And an 80-mile-an-hour warning Again, we talked about the 3 tornado warnings. We had that one there further up in Pennsylvania. This is for Sullivan County in Pennsylvania right now. The state college office there, the Ward Penn State University, is doing this warning at 4:16 until 5 o'clock. At 4:16, a severe thunderstorm was capable of producing a tornado near Muncie Valley there, moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. Just got to be really careful there. Take those tornado precautions. Again, what do those tornado precautions entail? Let's go ahead and pull up our tornado safety tips here on the screen right now. Again, seek center inside that sturdy building or get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Protect yourself from flying debris by putting on a bicycle helmet there or a football helmet. I know, very important to do. Some of these areas not used to tornadoes, tornado warnings, as we reference here. I mean, there's even, I mean, you talk about Pennsylvania. You don't have these very often. Alabama a little more often, but stuff popping up all over the place here on this August 7th, 2023. So again, let's just go ahead now and come back on camera for now. We're going to go ahead and come back on camera right now. You can see we have some of these storms all by themselves, which can be a problem there. These STP values are really high up this way. To the south, a little bit higher, though. We just got a new tornado warning, by the way. So let's just check on that. Again, just trying to see where we're going with this. You have this tornado warning. It's a possible tornado is headed toward Leesburg there in Virginia. Loudoun County, one of the areas included in this new tornado warning of 5:15 at 4:40. It's a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. It was located near Middleburg, Virginia, or 16 miles west of Brambleton, moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. So again, Middleburg, Virginia, Oatlands, Virginia, and Leesburg, Virginia. Some of the bigger areas included, we also have St. Louis, Virginia, Gleedsville, Upperville, Hamilton, Lincoln, Hughesville, and Belmont. So again, just continuing to watch things in that regard. You see this is northwest of Manassas there in Virginia. You see, there's Washington, D.C., folks, and I said not far away, unfortunately, here from that populated area, very populated area. So again, looking at northwest of Charlottesville, you can see this area here, this possible tornado east of Staunton, Virginia, right now. We're just going to keep watching that as we keep looking at some of our different sources now. Maybe a potential for some 80-mile-an-hour winds in North Carolina, we're being told. Okay, so that's just coming on out now, North Carolina. Potential for 80-mile-an-hour winds there we have. It looks like destructive winds toward eastern Catawba and Lincoln County. So at 4:40 Eastern, a severe thunderstorm line was located there from 8 miles south of Taylorsville to 5 miles southeast of Newton to near Lincolnton, moving southeast at 75 miles an hour. These could produce 80-mile-an-hour winds. We have Hickory, Newton, Lincoln, Taylorsville, St. Stephen's, as well as Conover, Longview, looks like Bethlehem, Maiden, and Hildebrand there under this warning. So some big time problems possible toward these communities right now. Big time problems. So just got to be really, really cognizant of that as we go ahead and keep looking at things just all over the place here. Stuff popping up that we have to stay on top of to protect you, your friends, and your family here on this Monday in early August. So again, let's just go ahead and keep watching things. I see Top Cat there. Thanks so much for tuning in here as well here on this birthday here for me. But it's just all right now about giving you guys the latest information to protect you, your friends, and your family. So again, you can see we have 3 tornado warnings here in play. You have areas there, 2 of those in Virginia. They dropped the one in Alabama now to the Huntsville office, it looks like. So that's some good news. That's for the moment anyway. Could always change on us. We have 3 tornado warnings on the board at this point here. So we have Sullivan County in Pennsylvania. Sullivan County in Pennsylvania. Underneath this tornado warning there. 442 near Ricketts, Glen State Park, moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. We also have a possible tornado right now as we get there in Virginia. You see moving up toward Leesburg, Virginia there. in toward that part of that state. We have the radar indicated rotation. The radar indicated rotation there. You can see that on rotation tracker. You can see some tighter rotation there. Let's zoom in a little. This is north of Marshall, Virginia. You see west there, a little bit of Middleburg in Virginia. Watching the national storyline, this national severe the threat again. There's tornado safety tips important to keep in mind here in this type of threat, in this type of risk here. We're just trying to give you the latest. So you just got to make sure you take those tornado precautions as we look toward these red boxes. Again, some of these destructive warnings as well, though, you got to make sure that you're taking tornado-like precautions as well, tornado warning-like precautions, because these situations here, these situations can be ones here where you have a really big damage. So got to take that into consideration. You rarely have severe on a day like this here in early August. Can't really remember a threat quite like this, like we're having today here on August 7th here as we're looking across our country. But again, let's just go ahead and continue to watch things here. Continue to watch things. We're trying to give you the latest updates. We're trying to give you the very latest information right now to protect you, your friends, and your family as we gather all the latest detail. As you can see, moving up toward Leesburg, Virginia, you see it northwest of Charlottesville. Some rotation there as well, some radar indicated rotation in toward that area. Again, we're just going to go ahead. You have northwest of Scranton in Pennsylvania. We have some radar indicated rotation as well. So, looking from the Binghamton radar, that's pretty tight right now. They're east of Mildred. You can see it there moving, it looks like into Wyoming County. Wyoming County there. That is not under tornado warning yet, but it could get under one here soon. That's the Binghamton office over there. The tornado warning for Sullivan County, the State College, Pennsylvania office. So, again, that's something just to continue to monitor here for sure. We have to get another now 80-mile-an-hour warning, it would seem, toward areas in South Carolina. Let's go to that radar. Okay, so let's look at some of these different areas. That's 70 there on this one, southwest of Spartanburg. We have this one near Malden. That one near Malden now, maybe 80-mile-an-hour winds around downtown Greenville. I mean, it just went through there, so I'm going to see here. Okay, I mean, they just upgraded that, it would seem, as I'm looking here. Upgraded that at 446, so it was 70, but now 80-mile-an-hour winds possible in that area. So let's see if we have any observations here that might tell us why they upgraded. Maybe because we ended up seeing a number here go a little bit higher here as we look in there, as we look, seeing these brighter colors. I see 43, but might be quite a few damage reports around there. They've upgraded. I mean, it went right through that area. And you're seeing brighter colors on there too as this crosses over. This crosses over I-85. So again, we're just going to have to keep watching things here. We'll keep watching the situation as it does progress. As it does progress on us here, we're just going to have to keep giving you guys the latest updates to protect you, your friends, and your family here as we go ahead and go back on over here. Let's see. Baltimore County, as well as Carroll County, Frederick, Howard, and Montgomery. That destructive warning in place. So let's see what we have on that. Again, we just have a lot going on right now. As we get here, you can see some brighter colored at points. This is really looking bright down here toward Middleburg, Virginia. You can see definitely the greens and reds coming together. Loudoun County under that tornado warning until about 5:15. I know Washington, D.C. is going to be getting this right here in a little bit. Let's see about Roanoke. I know that's a really highly popular area. They might have a threat here to look ahead. Maybe I'll miss them. We'll see. Right now, I think like some stuff splitting the difference, but we have stuff to the south there. Some really strong winds northwest of Charlotte. Maybe winds to 80 in eastern Catawba and Lincoln County. So you hate seeing that. You have the winds here. It could be to 80 there south of Greenville, South Carolina. As we keep switching around on the Doppler radar here right now, we keep switching around on the Doppler radar. You can see in Spartanburg County there, seeing winds about 70, so up moving over to Roebuck there. Let's see what number we have in this morning, probably 70 it is. There, Greenville, Spartanburg, Cherokee, and Union Counties, a severe thunderstorm, a warning here in play right now as we look toward that area, as we give you guys the latest updates here toward that GSP radar site. So again, just continuing to give you guys more information here as you need it. I know we have some stronger storms, but not severe storms as we get toward north central Florida where we're at, where we really focus our attention here. If it was severe, we'd have to focus our attention on this. It's pretty strong though around Keystone and Waldo right now, but not severe. That's not why we're on. But if it became severe, that would be why we were being really covering things there at that point in time. So again, they see around Waldo and Keystone there, US 301, Waldo Road, getting in towards some of that as well. So again, let me get up to the north of one around Atlanta. Okay, so let's see what this one's all about. This is for 61-hour winds. Gwinnett, Fulton County till 5:15. Atlanta, Lawrenceville, Decatur, Peachtree Corners, Sandy Springs, Dunwoody, East Point, Snellville, Liburn, Chamley, Norcross, Doraville, Clarkson, Stone Mountain, Avondale Estates, Grayson, Lithonia, Pine Lake, Northern Decatur there, North Atlanta as well. So again, severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail. Base warning around Atlanta right now. Warning around Birmingham. You see there, this is a threat for them. 60-mile-an-hour winds toward Talladega and Calhoun and Selby, Jefferson County, where Birmingham is, St. Clair County until about 4:15. Severe thunderstorms located along a line extending from Hobson City to Logan Martin Dam to the Hoover Metropolitan Stadium in southeast at 40. So we have Birmingham, Hoover, Vestavia Hills, over toward Bessemer, Homewood, Anniston, Pelham, Oxford, Mountain Brook, even over toward Trussville, getting over toward Hueytown there, Talladega, Pell City, Irondale, Leeds, Moody, Fairfield, Chelsea there. So again, just continuing to watch things in that area. Again, currently we have 3 tornado warnings in the country. So we have one in Sullivan County. We'll get to that in a moment, but this is Maryland now. Carroll County. This had a tornado warning issued for north central Carroll County at 4:52. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Littlestown there, or near Westminster, moving northeast about 60 miles an hour. Only an 8-minute tornado warning issued by the office there in Sterling, Virginia, but that's Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C.'s office, really. So that's kind of interesting to touch on. It looks like State College hadn't issued it yet. Maybe more in their jurisdiction if I'm looking at the right storm here. That's kind of interesting. We'll have to keep our eyes on that. So let's get another one further north as we're looking there inward parts of York County in Pennsylvania. But that's one tornado warning. This is one here. You see moving toward Leesburg in Virginia right now. And then we also have areas there again towards Sullivan County in Pennsylvania. You see that there? That's a possible tornado in toward that area as well. So radar indications of that. So we'll keep watching things. We'll keep tracking things at the top of the hour with more information to protect you, protect your friends, protect your family. Several tornado watches here on play. We have so many severe thunderstorm warnings. I mean, we check the number on those. We have 39 of those. 3 tornado warnings right now, 5 flash flood warnings. A lot going on here nationally. Nothing in terms of warning in our area right now, but some stronger storms there for the north central Florida. It's whenever thunder roars go indoors. So be back at the top of the hour with more as we continue the special coverage of this national severe outbreak situation.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here in the center at the top of the hour. We have a new tornado warning now in North Carolina. This is for Iredell and Rowan counties until about 5:30. So in the Piedmont of North Carolina at 4:59, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located 10 miles south of Statesville or near Lake Norman State Park, moving east at about 50 miles an hour. This is north of Charlotte there. You have Mooresville and China Grow as well as Landis that could be in the path of this as we're looking ahead and toward the timeline. So again, just continuing to follow this. The tornado warning North Carolina, the Greenville, Spartanburg office this issue and this year, the Piedmont of the state. So, okay, we need to touch on something else real quick. It's local. Let's touch on that strong storm in parts of Bradford and Union. Well, not Union. I'm sorry. We have so many things going on. Bradford and Alachua because we just got a gust, not severe, but there's an advisory on it. A gust at that Weatherstem side in Waldo about 10 minutes ago at a 45 miles an hour there. 45-mile-an-hour gust, that's pretty substantial on that side. I've been watching that side for storms before, and you generally don't get that high, so may get a warning pretty soon down there if we're not careful. Even a little bit of weak rotation on that. Let's go over there now. Let's check that out. You can see that right around Theresa there. We have a little bit of green and red trying to come together here. So let's go ahead and jump down here. No warning on this. It's an advisory situation. The green and red wasn't really there before, but we weren't really getting the winds on here as you can see a little bit of that around water, though. That's 413. Don't think we really had. That was 450 when we had to record, so let's look there around 450. You have a little bit of something, but now it looks like we have a little bit of enhancement here. It'll be interesting to see if this side of the Keystone Airport gets a little bit higher with the winds. 29 miles an hour just a few moments ago. As we're looking there east of Theresa around the Keystone Airport area there. Could be getting some gustier winds in there right now. Again, nothing overwhelming, but that is a little bit of what I'd call weak rotation with those dark greens and dark reds coming together. A little bit of spin. Don't get stressed out about it. It's not what we're on right now. But while we're already on with the national stuff, we need to make sure we're paying attention at least a little bit to the local stuff here. It just kind of is popping up on us here a bit as we're looking there in southeastern Bradford, Florida, and southwestern Clay County. So we'll keep our eyes on this. This is considered a strong thunderstorm. The statement there from the National Weather Service, 444, Doppler was tracking a strong thunderstorm around Keystone, moving northeast at 10 miles an hour, winds around 40, peace-sized hail as well, as just some gusty winds there. Again, as I was mentioning, our employee, these winds could knock down some tree limbs and blow around unsecured objects. Minor damage to outdoor objects is possible. Keystone Heights, as well as Lake Geneva, Waldo, and Hampton here under this. So again, just kind of keep watching things here toward this part of the area. Again, nothing overwhelming. That latest scan coming in, just a little bit of green and red, which is interesting. It's not, these colors aren't enough for any type of warning, I don't think, though. That's the good news, but we're just wanting to let you guys know, give you a heads up right into the airport. So if something happened, I think we would get an idea, hopefully, pretty quickly there. That number isn't impressive, but the one to the southwest, a little more so, with not as much on radar, even 45 miles an hour about 10 minutes ago. Almost 15 now around Waldo. So just local stuff for watch as well. But back to the national storyline, tornado warning there. The reason we're on, the reason the logo is red, the national storylines there. Looking at the Sterling, Virginia radar. We have some tight rotation there in York County, Pennsylvania. This is moving up toward the Jefferson area there in Pennsylvania. You can see some bright blues there. Winds of 58 one way, the red's about 13 the other way, but they don't match up that well maybe with the actual reflectivity. So it could be a situation here, folks. Could be a situation, honestly, as I'm looking at this, where we just have a lot of wind in there. But you could get a quick spin up. Not out of the question. We have the tornado warning in North Carolina. Now the radars are harder to get a view on out here. I know you have to go to the terminal radar sometimes. Let's do that then. See if we can see. Oh, yeah, you can see it there right around Mooresville. It's in a great area for radar coverage, but some greens and reds here coming into play. So you got to take this turn of precautions. Possible tornado there, Oak Ridge Farm Highway area. Toward there, or maybe toward it looks like North Carolina 150. So again, just continuing to watch things here. in the Weather Center on that right now. I already see a report there to the west. One person injured in Lincoln County, North Carolina, where multiple trees were down in the Vale area. One person, the injury was actually by lightning there. So whenever thunder roars, go indoors. These areas don't get these storms as often. A lot of reports there north of Hickory, North Carolina. You hate seeing that. And then as we're looking here further back into Knoxville, a lot of problems around Knoxville, the University of Tennessee area, that town anyway, having some power outages. So just a big time storyline there. They had some destructive type of winds going through there earlier on. So again, a big storyline there. As we go ahead and zoom back out just a little bit here, we're going to go ahead and zoom back out just a little bit and continue to give you guys the latest of the tornado watches here in play. In the yellow boxes, the broad shaded areas, I should clarify that. The boxes, the individual polygons of the thunderstorm warnings, but the broad shaded yellow areas are a tornado watch situation that is in play for a broader scale. So again, continuing to watch things. Let's pull up those tornado safety tips again. As we have tornado warnings right now in North Carolina and Pennsylvania, Iredell and Rowan counties, and then York County as we transition from North Carolina to Pennsylvania with that warning in place. So back to those tips, you can see them there. To get the latest updates on in right now. I know we're looking at some different things here in the Weather Center. 3 destructive severe thunderstorm warnings as well right now. One of them are Baltimore, Carroll, Frederick, Howard, Montgomery counties in the Maryland vicinity, South Carolina, Greenville, Lawrence, and Spartanburg counties there in the North Carolina, Alexander, Burke, Catawba, Iredell, and Lincoln. We have the tornado warning in Iredell, or Iredell. I'm not 100% sure to pronounce that, but Rowan County there as well, and in New York County and Pennsylvania. So trying to give you that rundown here real quick on all of those here at this present point in time. So again, just trying to let you guys know exactly what is happening here. It's just always important to give you guys the very latest to protect you, your friends, and your family here. And we have so much going on. Here. I mean, we have the strong storms locally, but then the very serious situation nationally, a 4 to 5 severe risk in early August. You almost never see this, especially for this part of the country, hardly ever anyway. But early August, really an anomaly here. So again, there's a lot of factors of the heat. We have low pressure there, and just a lot of different things. The overall parameters coming into play here for a setup like this. So again, let's go ahead and come back on camera right now, though, to continue to give you guys the very latest. Again, you can see tornado watches here in play. I know another tornado warning now. This is Catawba, or no, excuse me, Cabarrus in Mecklenburg. That's closer to Charlotte now. Closer to Charlotte there. I know eventually I'll probably wrap up and cover the national accent here, depending on how things go, because we're not talking about really widespread like strong tornadoes. But we'll stick with this maybe through Washington, D.C. with some of these storms, and or Baltimore there through some of the more populated areas. But right now we have a possible tornado north of Charlotte setting up. So let's go ahead and get on our terminal radar if we can then. Now let's put that on in here right now. Give you guys the latest. Just looking there. You see around Huntersville there, around the Huntersville area. Let's go ahead and go back on over toward the view there. You see some greens and reds trying to come together. It's really murky, not far from the radar's side. But a possible tornado could be, if it's on the ground, I mean, it'd be crossing I-77 here pretty soon. So I think there's kind of precautions. We're just outlining interior room away from windows, putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible. We have York County there in Pennsylvania. This is west there of, it looks like I-83. Again, watching just a bunch of different areas here of concern. I mean, the winds are concerned that are causing power outages. Over 100,000 customers without power in eastern Tennessee earlier when I was checking poweroutages.us. That really tells the story. And the more populated areas could see even a more of a surge here of outages as we look ahead as well. You see all these warnings around Atlanta? I know, it looks like a gust. Wow, 71 there on Chamblee and areas there around Peachtree there. Looks like DeKalb. So Again, if I'm pronouncing that right, I know there's some different pronunciations of a couple of these different places, so make sure I get these right. But again, maybe the cob there, but again, just continuing to watch things as we're looking there. With the geography, we'll go ahead and zoom back out uh, as we go ahead and get here around Macon. Some 60-mile-an-hour winds possible in toward that area. There you have again Charlotte, possible tornado north of town. Another one south of Salisbury there as well. And then as we get further up toward north, you see all these warnings there. This one here now for Baltimore, it is for, it looks like winds to 60 at this point. Could get upgraded though. Carroll County, North Central Maryland, Baltimore City, Northern Anne Arundel County there, as well as Howard County, East Central Montgomery, Hartford, Cecil, Baltimore, Prince George's. So again, gotta be careful. Baltimore, Columbia, Annapolis there, you kind of get the idea with these really strong winds coming on through. Again, just continuing to watch things here. You see storms in our area here, our 62 counties that we cover here primarily, but we're going to do special coverage right now, but no local warnings, or we would jump and focus on those. We had a gust of 45 around Waldo, which is pretty impressive for that site here, around 450, that Weatherstem site there. So just worth noting as we're looking at things there. But again, we're in Bradford County in Florida. We cover the 62 counties primarily, but national stories like what we're seeing today, we have to talk about here as well. So again, let's get back up to the northeast here on Charlotte. The tornado warnings here. Hope we don't get any confirmations, but we have to keep looking there. You see, we have this possible tornado in southern parts of Pennsylvania and York County in that state here as well. We have more stuff coming toward Washington, D.C. over the next little bit. Let's get over toward some of the views there. Let me go ahead and get some of the views up over there. And now, again, just continuing to watch things as we're looking toward D.C. I'll check some of the different Dopplers in that area. So just bear with me. Just bear with me. We're going to try to give you guys the very latest. Looking at some of these winds here, you see around Herndon there, looking there, coming toward Washington, D.C. over the next little bit. So that could be a problem for those areas there toward the metro, very populated area. Excuse me. Could get impacted here over the next little bit. So again, just continuing to give you guys the very latest on this big national story. So again, looking there, you see maybe it's this stuff around Manassas comes in there. It's kind of hard to say on the angles. Let me look at this. So, I mean, that was pretty strong there. Again, looking up further up toward the north here, it could be stuff down here that comes on in, which might take a little bit longer. So we're going to gather more information. We're at 514 right now. We're at 514 right now. Let me go ahead and zoom on out. We'll go ahead and zoom on out here to the big national picture. I'll be back about 520 with more information. So keep it tuned to Cloud Weather. We'll keep you guys up to date here on the special coverage on this Monday.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here at 5:20 on this Monday here. It's August 7th, 2023. Still watching the storms. I know getting the latest updates in here as we're looking at some of our different chat systems and the like. You can see we do have tornado warnings in play in Pennsylvania. Another one just got issued. That's in New York State, though. Pennsylvania, New York State, North Carolina, we have warnings in play. Possible tornadoes. I saw 80-mile-an-hour winds. It looks like the word Manassas, that area now. So let's go ahead and jump on over there. Let me go ahead and jump on over into where that warning. That could be a destructive storm for Manassas as well as Annandale there, or Annandale if I'm mispronouncing that, and Burke and Clifton there too. And then looking there, that's in Northern Virginia, and then we have that tornado warning in the north there in parts of York County, but further north we have Cortland County now in New York State, outside, ironically, just outside tornado watch here. A possible tornado located in southwestern Cortland County, according to the Binghamton office. At 5:19, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Hartford, right miles south of Cortland, moving northeast at 25. So we have Virgil, South Cortland, Munson's Corners, Cortland, McGraw here under this warning over the next little bit. Again, a possible tornado in that area right now. Better take this under precautions and keep your room away from windows. Put as many walls between you and outside as possible. Football helmet, bicycle helmet, good things to put on one or the other in this type of situation to protect your head area. But you can see we have a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings in North Georgia. Again, these yellow boxes in play indicative of that threat here for some damaging winds. You see around Clemson even. We've had some of these stronger winds being a potential there and toward that part of the state. I know some of these cities harder to get to pop up on our screen, but you can see there's Greenville. You see Greer there. You see some of these different areas there in South Carolina as they're being impacted here in the timeline. So again, you have these tornado warnings to the north. You have, again, the storm moving toward D.C. maybe. That one warning there with 80 winds, that could come south D.C. here, that, and maybe even most of D.C. over the next little bit. So a heads up, that warning goes, one with the destructive tag for 80 winds. I don't know if it's set in the multiple color mode on here, but 5:45 is when this expires. So that could be when we start getting it closer to Washington, D.C., where we could have a lot of damage, a lot of power outages. So got to be really careful there around Washington, D.C. A severe thunderstorm threat. I need to broaden the view out just a little bit here. Headed toward that very highly populated area of Baltimore. A threat right now, more like it would seem, winds about 60 there. Still could cause some damage and power outages, though. And then I see Roanoke, they're sitting okay right now. Actually, you have Southeast Pikeville warning, though, and then a bunch of stuff in North and South Carolina, and in North Georgia, even. Quite a few warnings here in play. Okay, now Cayeta and Fayette counties in Georgia under an 80-mile-an-hour warning. So let's go ahead and check that area. That's of concern, obviously. Let's go ahead and get into that area if we can. That's near the Weather Service office. So they're saying destructive storm for Fayette and Cayeta counties. Noon in there, they got hit by that terrible tornado going back a couple years ago. Fayetteville, Peachtree City, where Weather Service is there, as well as Sharpsburg, Stars. Maybe we could have winds to over that 74-mile-an-hour threshold, maybe a hurricane force gust here in this area, North Georgia, here over the next little bit south of Atlanta. Again, it's this area in here. This area in here, this is southwest of Noonan, really, at this point. But again, just continuing to watch things, continuing to monitor the situation. Some really volatile weather conditions here. The story right now, as we're looking there, as we're looking in parts of Georgia, already some wind damage around Atlanta proper here over the last little bit. A tree was reported down at Carroll Drive, northwest of Marietta Boulevard. You also have a tree reported down on Fairfield Road, northwest in Fulton County. And then you can see here again some stuff northeast of Charlotte. Again, some red boxes, possible tornado threats there in that area. And then you can see here, looking this area here, north of Westminster, possible tornado in southern Pennsylvania, another possible tornado toward areas in Cortland County in New York. So something to kind of be mindful of there for sure. So again, I just gotta keep on tracking things here A busy weather pattern, to say the least. I know. As we continue to watch things, let's go to that terminal radar real quick. I think as we get out toward North Carolina, let's go over toward that area here. We'll try to get down on that terminal Doppler. Try to give you guys the very latest on some of those velocities there in that area. I know some stronger winds, if nothing else, showing up. Could have some tornadic activity in there, though, not out of the question. I know these terminal radars you have to use sometimes because lack of radar coverage here. It's unfortunate in such a highly populated area having lack of radar coverage, really. But again, let's go back here. I know North Carolina, we have those warnings, but then Pennsylvania, we have the tornado warning up here. York County, we have New York, Cortland County as well. I know we have just a bunch going on. We even have local strong storm, nothing severe. And those would be the focus. Had another gust in the 40 range around Wardo recently. To get back local real quick here. Also, that excessive heat warning situation here in play. I know it's cooled off a lot around Keystone, but we're still at 84. But we got 96 there around 344, 345 or so this afternoon. So excessive heat, those heat index values well into the triple digits, into the 110s there in many spots. Still some of them sitting there right now. I mean, you see Tallahassee 111. It feels like I'd be really careful. Dangerous heat towards many different areas here across our region. I know we could have some storms here that get a little more volatile later here towards some of our counties, but so far haven't really seen them do so. The risk here in towards some of our counties is more towards South Georgia. Doesn't mean we couldn't get a road warning further south. But I know tomorrow's risk will be more concentrated in South Georgia, more escalated on a 2 out of 5 at this point for those winds. So be careful there. And then also I see just looking nationally that we have 48 severe thunderstorm warnings right now. That is a really incredible number. And then 4 tornado warnings. We have areas there, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and New York State with some tornadic potential as of this moment. So again, just continuing to watch things here in the Weather Center. Let's go ahead and zoom back up a little bit. You see north of Charlotte there. Some areas of rotation. We'll continue to watch, continue to track. You can see here South Pennsylvania, some area of rotation there showing up. By the way, 3 tornado warnings now. Looks like they dropped the one for Rowan County in North Carolina. That's the case. Okay, that's some good news. So that one just went away, the tornado warning at least, but still, I mean, we've had nasty weather in that region. That's potential still hanging around. I mean, even though tornado threat, you can have a destructive or serious wind threat in play. So gotta keep that in mind here as we're looking towards some of these different communities. I know Cayuga County there in Georgia, and Fayette County, we have that wind potential to 80 there. Let's go to that radar. See if we can get over to that radar. There's just so many warnings. Some it's hard to focus on any one of these warnings here. I know. I see a lot of velocity now, but it's right over the radar. Yeah, okay, right before I got to the radar then is when they had that. You see really set up all these bright colors there, right close to the ground as it was headed right toward the radar and over the radar. Gust of 40 so far, the sensor. I definitely could have some damage in that region, and the potential for 80 gusts is what the warning is for here at this point. So again, just continuing to track things here in the Weather Center, continuing to track things. Let me go ahead and go back on over here toward the other perspective. And you see 100 there. Cecil Field, it looks like in Jacksonville is a spot. It gets typically a little bit hotter. Definitely toasty out there. And excessive heat warning's been a really big story. Rare to see those. Getting see here, so you gotta make sure you're drinking plenty of water and taking frequent breaks if you have to spend a good bit outside. Elderly and young children the most vulnerable there. So those young folks and the elderly the most vulnerable from this heat. So again, just gotta be really careful. Gotta be really cognizant of what's going on in that regard. We're just gonna have to keep checking on all our different metrics here on just that and the storms, the local storm potential, but the national storm potential is such a big story, causing a lot of power outages, no doubt. Just had another tornado warning drop away. It was that one for York County in Pennsylvania, but still, looks like Cabarrus there, if I'm pronouncing that right, North Carolina and Mecklenburg. Tornado warning to about 6, and then 545 for the Cortland County, New York area. So a lot of that rotational potential here set up in this setup today. So Watching things though, where DC ought to keep monitoring the threat as it gets closer to Baltimore. There, the city going to be getting some threats here over the next little bit from these storms. So, gotta be very careful. Let me see if there's any questions from any of the viewers right now. We'll go ahead and just check over there. Don't see anything, but again, thanks so much for tuning in, interest in me. Again, let me go ahead and check. Let me go ahead and check some other sources. Again, we'll go ahead. You see Manassas. If I switch it over to you guys on this view, 58-mile-an-hour gust earlier on off the view there, and then you have Baltimore to Towson. Some stronger winds coming through town there. At this point, it will look like, let's go to terminal Doppler to see you guys some of that. So definitely some stronger winds in there. So gotta be kind of mindful. Look at all these winds going up here to west and northwest of DC. Even southwest. This could be an issue for Washington D.C. here. Very, very highly populated U.S. capital. Some really strong winds headed that way over the next little. It could cause a lot of power outages. So it could be a big story there. But again, let's go ahead and zoom back on out here. Let me go ahead and zoom back on our other source. Again, continuing to watch all the different features here. All the different features here across the country in terms of the different weather makers. Here you see Courier to some degree out in Missouri in the upper 70s, but a different story further off. You see how hot it is, the contract, the air masses, and that's one of the reasons you have some problems. So again, just a very odd setup for this time of year. And that's what we're having to deal with across the country. Several tornado watches in play, one for parts of Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania there until 11 o'clock tonight. North Carolina, Virginia until, 9 o'clock tonight, 9 o'clock for areas of D.C., Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia, 7 o'clock for North Carolina, Tennessee, and 6 o'clock for Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia. One of those boxes is shaded in broad shaded yellow areas, the pinks. Well, one of those in Georgia goes all the way to midnight. But again, just continue. Another one only to 9, another one to 8, but kind of varies depending on which one you're talking about. Let me see that one toward Macon, see when that one expires here. That's the one that goes to midnight. That's what I was thinking. So, again, just continuing to watch things here, continuing to watch things here in the Weather Center. We're at 5:33 right now. We're going to take another break in the coverage. Be back around 5:40 with more information. So keep it tuned to Clouds Weather here. We'll keep you guys updated on this special coverage on this Monday, August 7th, 2023.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here with us at 5:40 on this Monday, August 7th, 2023. Tracking the severe the situation across the country, such a big deal. Looking at all of our different screens here, maybe a confirmed tornado now on the ground over Cortland County in New York. So that's a pretty big deal as we're looking toward that area right now. So let me go ahead and jump on over here. You see it maybe just crossing over I-81, Interstate 81 there. Seeing some greens and reds on the Doppler. There was reports coming on in a moment ago that a spotter apparently saw leaf debris, a possible tornado on the ground. So that's a pretty big storyline there. Update then now coming out. The Bennington office is more saying damaging tornado there around McGraw, maybe right over McGraw near Cortland. So again, moving northeast about 30 miles an hour. So that's a big story. There's another tornado warning in North Carolina. We were touching on that here a little while ago. Let's real quick touch on the heat that we have in our local counties here while we're on, because we just got reports that the record for today in Tallahassee, the record high was set there now with a 99-degree reading a little while ago. The previous record was 98. So this the heat really a big story, and those heat index values are a big problem. Could have more excessive heat alert tomorrow. Just got to be really cognizant of that as we look ahead here. Just this extreme heat really causing problems, really causing an issue here. Just got to make sure you take to the back seat of that car there, for instance, because we don't want to leave anybody there, a young person there in the back seat for too long, because can't leave them there really for any amount of time in this type of weather because it's just too dangerous. The heat is just something that'll really take hold there quickly with that air conditioner running. I mean, even with the air conditioner running, it's not something that you're advised to do, but just take them with you there. So again, continue to watch things here. Go ahead and continue to watch things in terms of the national storyline. Let's get back on over here toward the Washington, D.C. area. You see around Baltimore, I know there's some stronger winds possible there. So just got to be cognizant, and Washington, D.C. may get some warnings here pretty soon. These stronger winds aren't all that long away from that area there potentially, so I gotta be careful in that regard. So let's just go ahead and keep checking over there. Let's go ahead and keep checking over toward that area. In fact, as we try to give you guys the very latest to protect you, protect your friends, protect your family here. Let me go ahead and try to give you guys the latest on some of our other sources. I'm just trying to switch some screens around here to gather the latest details. In fact, again, a little surprised we haven't had a warning for DC proper issued, but let's just zoom on in here and get on in. I mean, looks like going to be there pretty soon. Some of this wind, I mean, really surprised there's not a warning at this point. Maybe it's just in the process of coming out now. I mean, these winds here look like they at least are meeting severe criteria. I mean, my goodness. I mean, it could be over 58, but at least seeing 58 on here at a pretty low level. So, really not sure we don't have a. I mean, I'm not sure why we don't have a warning here at this point for Washington D.C. Maybe our system's not catching it for some reason. I'm not sure, but there you go. There's a warning that's popping up. I guess right on cue, but. Okay, so this one here is going to be for 60-mile-an-hour winds. They're going to go base. Maybe they were just kind of discussing if they want to go more considerable or destructive. They decided just to go with a base one. Still dangerous, but not as significant as it could be here toward the District of Columbia, South Central Montgomery County and Central Maryland, Northwestern Calvert County and Southern Maryland, Prince George's County and Central Maryland, South Central Anne Arundel County there, Charles County, Northern Stafford, in Northern Virginia, as well as the city of Falls Church in Northern Virginia. We also have Fairfax County, Eastern Fairfax, and just kind of looking at the city of Fairfax. We have the city of Alexandria, Northern Virginia, just a lot of different areas included there. As we have some new tornado warning updates come in as well. So let's go ahead and touch on those. So North Carolina now, we have a new tornado warning for Montgomery and Stanley counties now. Tornado threat there, pushing to the east, a possible tornado over Mount Pleasant or 11 miles east of downtown Concord. So That's the storyline there as we're trying to look at this. And then I know we had that very bad tornado in eastern North Carolina going back not too long ago that caused those injuries. And EF3, it was all by itself. This is a day that's a lot more foreseen per se. But again, watching the tornado in New York State is what now radar indicated with that update again. But nasty storm. You don't step right out there in New York State. A storm all by itself with a hook echo. That is impressive. Not in a good way. Other storms look like they're trying to do that, but maybe a little too much competition for now. But yeah, that could, get a tornado warning in those different areas could here over the next little bit. So something to kind of be mindful of as we're monitoring the situations here as that timeline does progress on us. So again, let me go ahead and just keep watching things here. Keep tracking things. We'll go ahead and go back on over right now. You can see around Atlanta, Georgia here, that area coming on in toward that area at this point of some storms, 60-mile-an-hour winds on that one. We had a warning for 80 in the vicinity, but some 60-mile-an-hour winds here possible with the main line here. Some power lines reported down in Douglas County, by the way. Let's get on to the base velocity over there right now then. Let's go ahead and get over to base velocity and some of the other velocity modes here possibly. But yeah, we're seeing some stronger winds try to enter back into toward Atlanta. Already having some storming it there a little while ago. And there's just a bunch popping up there in North Georgia. I know we're going to have some threats here in where our South Georgia counties become a little more widespread, it would seem, tomorrow. So just an early heads up there. But Atlanta getting some nasty weather here, and then with another line back behind. I mean, it's pretty threatening here right now. In fact, there's some stuff out ahead. Maybe a little rotation on that. And there, so you got to be kind of careful right in Atlanta. Well, that's concerning, but we'll keep watching that. Let me check the terminal radar to make sure nothing's getting crazy there. You don't like seeing a little bit of turbulence in Atlanta, though, because we've had situations before. That tornado that had during the SEC basketball tournament years ago kind of came up quickly, so got to be careful. Let's look at tomorrow's risk. This might take a second to update. Okay, there you go. Day 2. That's your risk for tomorrow. A slight risk for Georgia County, so be aware. I might have to leave the logo red for tomorrow between the excessive heat and a more organized threat for severe weather in our Georgia counties on that Tuesday. Now, today's risk, a lot less in terms of that slight risk coverage, really just the very northern edges here. May get some stuff to linger or develop here as we're looking. But, I mean, tomorrow is more concentrated, more organized here. So, got to be mindful of that. Even if we wrap this up here pretty soon for the national concerns, some have to come back later tonight and or here more than likely tomorrow here with the coverage. So, again, just continue to keep you guys updated on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch here. It's all about protecting you, your friends, and your family. That's the website there, the interactive radar available too. So just something to kind of bear in mind as we're looking at things here. You can see around Charlotte, some stronger winds coming into town in Mecklenburg County right now. 70-mile-an-hour winds, some considerable tree damage there, damage to mobile homes, roofs, and outbuildings, a possibility in Charlotte there in Mecklenburg County. So right now, no destructive severe thunderstorm warnings, but a bunch of considerable ones. I mean, they're all over the place here. Georgia, in the ward parts of Delaware, Pennsylvania. I mean, South Carolina. It's just they're all over the place here right now. But at least we don't have this destructive 80-mile-an-hour ones. We have 70-mile-an-hour ones on quite a few places. I know if we had any other modes, like I sometimes we had it at the very beginning, they was still orange there, but this decided to kind of make the delineation more between a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning. They already have the tornado watch and thunderstorm watch here underneath. There's a lot going on, but again, and the temperatures here that are a big story too. So again, looking at DC, though, stuff's really getting right through DC here in the next few moments. Let's get in toward that area again. Let's get over in toward that area on the Doppler perspective, on that Doppler vantage point here. I'll go ahead and switch on over toward base velocity. Yes, some really strong winds starting to come through town now. Right there, right now, around the District of Columbia. I know some of the heavier rain might bring it down a little more, but starting to get some stronger winds in Washington, D.C. Some dangerous weather moving through the nation's capital. Excuse me, I apologize. Just spent a lot of talking here over the last little bit. But again, I get a new tornado warning now. Getting a new tornado warning here at 5:50 on this August 7th. Lackawanna, as well as Wyoming counties in Pennsylvania, looks like Let's go ahead and go up there. With the Scranton, we got some rotation. I think that's the area I was talking about a moment ago. One of those. Getting a little bit tighter on Nicholson, Pennsylvania. So again, continuing to watch things here, continue to monitor things here in the Weather Center. We're just going to have to keep watching a possible tornado there on Nicholson, Pennsylvania. Take those precautions if you're in that area right now. Let me go ahead and see what else we have going on. Let's see what else we have going on here right now. You can see we have the red boxes still, the tornado warnings, the one in North Carolina, one up in toward Pennsylvania. We just showed you one in New York State around Cortland County. So again, and Cortland City as well in play. We've been watching, but again, just continuing to track things here. Let's go back on over. Let's see if there are any questions from any of the viewers at home. Again, just continuing to give you guys the very latest. You see around Baltimore, if I switch it over, some stronger winds coming on into toward that area right now, toward Bowie as well. This is on 60 with the warning, but these winds here definitely could be pretty widespread to that level. So be careful there. Washington, D.C., 60, maybe a little over that, and pretty widespread as well there in the District of Columbia. So again, some nasty, nasty conditions pushing on through right now. Again, as we continue to track the situation, some stuff by itself down here might have to watch. That's there south of Gordonsville, it looks like. Some area of rotation showing up, and then we have North Georgia. Let's see here, and even Central Georgia radar trying to pop up at points. That's tight from that radar, really tight. Hopefully it's nothing right over Atlanta there. I hope the other radars would pick that up if it was really getting there. But definitely some winds there coming up pretty significantly right in Atlanta proper right now. So I know I'm jumping around a bunch here, but it's all about protecting you, your friends, and your family here on this Monday here. Again, you can kind of see some heavier downpours there right over maybe south side of Atlanta now, even maybe a little bit heavier than the north side, even southeast side. So gotta be careful there around Atlanta. Some nasty, nasty winds and weather coming on through. This warning here for winds there to about 70 in golf ball size hail. Atlanta, Decatur, East Point, Forest Park, College Park, over toward it looks like Lake City, Georgia, Belvedere Park, Hartsfield, Jackson Airport, Grant Park, Jew, Atlanta, Candler, McAfee, Sweet Auburn, Cascade Heights, Lakewood Park, Conley, as well as East Lake, Little 5 Points, and the West End. And it's got a new tornado warning in Louisa County there in Virginia. Let's see what we have there. Okay, that storm we were just looking at, I think it was. That one all by itself there. Those are the ones you gotta watch. Not much below it either. Not much to the south of it either. Hopefully there's no debris trying to pop out at us or anything like that. Kind of hard to tell at this point, but I would watch Northern Virginia over the next little bit there. See if that kind of becomes a little bit more significant. Hopefully we'll get it to dwindle down, but being by itself, that's a little bit of a cause for concern. So again, just continuing to track things here, continuing to give you guys the very latest. Again, going through DC here, some of these stronger winds coming right through Washington, DC and the District of Columbia. Seeing winds that could be in excess of 60 miles an hour, not out of the question. Same for Baltimore there. You have that threat coming on through there, and then we had Atlanta we just showed you, and then let's get over real quick to our local view in Jacksonville's radar. So we have some strong but not severe warning storms at this point. We had a couple gusts there around water that was pretty strong, but I've never had any warnings. Just 45, 46 miles an hour there earlier on. Some gusty winds there west of Palatka, extended down to Putnam and even in the Marion counties. As we kind of broaden that view, that's about all we have there that's really worth noting here at the moment. Bostwick there, we'll watch things, maybe a little bit of broad wind enhancement or almost weak rotation west of Palatka, but nothing we don't watch here too much at this point. So that's the good news. Maybe a downburst type of threat, even more than anything. That call rotation, but those areas aren't all that strong. But we have 4 tornado warnings right now in the country. Arizona, North Carolina, New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, underneath tornado warnings here for the potential tornado threats. So just got to be kind of careful, got to be kind of mindful here of what's going on. Make it 5 tornado warnings now. We have a new one, Susquehanna and Wayne County there now. As we're looking toward Pennsylvania, northeast Pennsylvania, possible tornado now, moving east at 25 miles an hour. So, again, having to watch these areas of spin on the Doppler, north of Scranton, south of Binghamton. So, again, that's the storyline there. And that other tornado warning north of and east of Ithaca, New York. So, continuing to watch, they see some stuff moving toward Philly. Philadelphia now. These winds could be to 70 that are heading in the direction of Philadelphia. That's really blowing out. Got to be kind of careful there around Philadelphia over the next little bit. Definitely got to be kind of mindful of what's going on as we're looking toward Philadelphia and that very highly popular area there. So again, let's just go ahead and keep watching things as we're looking toward Philly. That's something. Have some stronger winds coming on in there. So again, looking at that Boeing segment there over the next little bit. This is moving there. It looks like at about 55 miles an hour off toward the east. So gonna be something I'm gonna have to pay attention to around Philadelphia with a stronger winds aloft. We'll have to see how much of that is getting down to the surface right here. We'll have to see how much of those are getting down to the surface as we go ahead and give you more updates here. Let's go ahead and give you more updates. You can see here around Atlanta again some stronger wind gusts likelihood. Right in Atlanta, some very heavy downpours, very potent storms, probably causing some power outages here in towards some of these different neighborhoods, almost no doubt. We're looking northeast of Charlotte there, the Albemarle there, we have that tornado warning. We have the Smith Edison warning around Greensboro. We have this tornado warning here around Louisa County in Virginia, possible tornado in that area, rogue storm by itself. Let's see how the parameters look. Well, they're enough. Gotta be careful there. You have the winds going through Washington, D.C. right now, through Baltimore, again, headed toward Philadelphia here over the next little bit. So a lot going on, a lot happening here right now. In the grand scheme of things, to try to give you guys the latest updates. We're trying to give you the latest updates here to protect you, protect your friends, and protect your family. So, again, looking there right now, again, you have a different red boxes in play, and you have that one there east of Charlotte. You have stronger storms here toward our area. Again, around Atlanta, we have the really nasty weather coming right through that metro area. You don't like seeing that, obviously. Some really potent weather moving through there around Atlanta. And moving toward the east, I mean, you see some of these areas here further downstream. Rockdale County, it looks like. I see another tornado warning maybe in West Virginia popping up now. You have some of these areas, Rockdale and Henry and Clayton. 70-mile-an-hour winds, golf ball size hail. Possibilities there. New tornado warning in West Virginia now, Monroe and Summers County. That's a really tight area of span, or it's out just near and south of Hinton, the Blacksburg, Virginia radar. So that's something way back there. That's kind of concerning, seeing stuff develop way back there. South there and east, it looks like Beckley there, Beckley. So again, I'm just continuing to watch things northeast of Bluefield there in West Virginia. So again, just continuing to watch things. Give you guys the very latest. Takes a little bit longer here. No destructive severe thunderstorm warnings at this very second, but we're approaching the 6 o'clock hour. If you're just tuning in on meteorologist Casey Cloud following a national weather story here on this Monday, August 7th, 2023. Again, you can see we have many severe thunderstorm warnings across the country. 54 as of this moment, might change downward a little. A few of those get canceled out at 6 o'clock Eastern, but still many severe thunderstorm warnings in play. I know we had some stuff in the central time zone earlier in Alabama and around areas, some of those in Tennessee, maybe getting back towards central, but some of those Eastern time out there. But then you have a bunch of tornado warnings here that we're tracking. Nothing confirmed at this moment, but still that threat is there. The reason we're only covering this, as you see, some stuff go away at 6. There's so many different areas here covered by this moderate risk. 4 out of 5 danger here, really, for some severe weather. 3 out of 5 for a widespread area, though. Spots in between as well. A big storyline causing a lot of power outages, a lot of wind damage concerns. Let's go to the tornado safety tips. I'm going to check power outage numbers real quick. See what those are showing across the country here. trying to get an idea of what's going on here. To pass that along to you, the viewer at home. Passed it along to you, the viewer at home here. Over 100,000, just over 100,000 customers in the dark in Tennessee. Almost 100,000 North Carolina. Almost 90,000 Georgia. About 85,000 there in Maryland. Over 50,000 in Virginia. A lot of power outages on the board here, obviously, so something to touch on for sure as we're looking at things here across the country. So again, I'm trying to give you the latest updates on that as you take these kind of precautions into play right now in parts of West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Virginia, North Carolina there as well. So again, in Pennsylvania, if we hadn't already talked about it, I'm going to keep repeating ourselves. We just talked about them once, but just mentioning that again. So again, let's go back to the Doppler here. You can see the view. Again, we have all these areas covered by the enhanced risk, some by the moderate risk, as I was showing there as well. Again, looking at things here in North Carolina, possible tornado east of Charlotte. A lot of wind reports around Charlotte there. A lot of power outages, no doubt, there in Mecklenburg County. Something to touch on there. And then as we keep looking here upstate, you have all these warnings. Just got to be really careful. Baltimore, Washington, D.C., again, Atlanta, we've been talking about you as well. So we're 6:01 right now here on the clock. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud, giving you guys the latest information. Now 6:02, a new update here. Tornado warning towards Spotsylvania County in Virginia. This is by the Baltimore, Maryland, D.C., Washington, D.C. office. There, Sterling, Virginia, to be precise. But seeing the rotation there, that threat continue. Could be headed toward an interstate corridor a little later on if that were to continue along. They're not into that tornado warning yet, though. As we're looking there, that road that takes you between Fredericksburg and Richmond. But you see Washington, D.C. getting hammered by the storm there. They got hammered a couple weekends ago by some nastier weather as well. So something they had to deal with, something they're dealing with again today. Philly's headed for some more storms as well. So a nasty situation. You see these tornado warnings here. North of Scranton, possible tornadoes, radar indicated tornadoes up that way. So just a lot going on, a lot happening here. And we'll continue to give you updates of hot weather around here. Locally, some storms, not severe, but stronger. Been tracking those as well here as needed. And we'll have more here back in the Weather Center in about 7 minutes at about 6:10. So keep it tuned to Cloud Weather. And we will keep you guys up to date here on this August the 7th.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here at 6:10 on this Monday, this August 7th, 2023, tracking the severe thunderstorm outbreak here, severe weather outbreak with 45 severe thunderstorm warnings in play across the country and 7 tornado warnings here at this point. So quite a few of those, not expecting really strong tornadoes, but you can't completely rule out one or two just because it's such a big area that's covered by tornado watches here in play at this point in time. So again, looking at things around Atlanta, so many severe thunderstorm warnings, no destructive ones, but some really nasty wind and storms just coming through Atlanta there. You can see heavier convection southeast side of that area at this point. So that's the good news. And then as we look here, areas in South Carolina, all these reports around Charlotte still, a lot of wind damage there right in Mecklenburg County, really causing problems there. And then trees down on homes and the like. And you see the tornado warning further to the east there as we're getting right now. You have that possible threat in play toward Montgomery and Stanley counties. It would look like at this point in time. So, got to take those tornado precautions. What do tornado precautions mean? Well, here's a look at those at this point in time. Again, trying to give you the latest here as we try to get updates on more details. I'm checking some different things behind the scenes right now while I'm off camera to try to give you guys the latest. So, again, we're not being told there's maybe a confirmed tornado on the ground in Pennsylvania. So let's jump over there then. Let's come back on camera as we go ahead and jump our map ahead of time over there. So gotta take your dinner precautions there. Around the Susquehanna Depot area, it looks like. So right down here, that hook apparently a confirmed tornado now. This is based on radar right over Susquehanna there in northern parts of Pennsylvania. You don't get confirmed tornadoes up there very often. So a confirmed tornado right there, right now around Susquehanna Depot. Let's go ahead and get as many walls between you and the outside as possible around there because apparently there's a confirmed tornado. Yeah, a little bit of a debris signature there right around State Road 92. Pretty low down, so hopefully not too strong of a tornado yet, but next scan could be a different story. Uh, have a tornado down, at least at points, it would seem. There could be inflow in here too causing that, but I think the way they're seeing it, the way I'm seeing it, that is a tornado debris signature there right now in that area. We have Susquehanna and Wayne counties here under this tornado warning. A tornado warning toward Chester County in Pennsylvania, and that's the northwest there, and well, not northwest yet, but it would be if it kept holding together, but it keeps holding together. But southwest of Philadelphia right now in Chester County, a possible tornado there. Pretty highly populated area until about 6:45. Westchester, Phoenixville, Coatesville, Downingtown, Paoli, as well, maybe Paoli, and then Chester Springs, Pewtown, Lionville, Marshallton. You kind of get the idea there. Possible tornado over there, and in Spotsylvania County in Pennsylvania or in Virginia, excuse me, got tornado warnings down here right now. A lot of rotation on this. Now that maybe a little bit of side lobe almost, but it also could be something where a tornado could be pretty visible too. You never know. It's really a tricky spot there. That's pretty far northwest of Richmond, east of Charlottesville. Tornado warning Monroe and Summers County in West Virginia right now. Possible tornado in that area. We have Louisa County in Virginia, similar we were looking at. So earlier on here, just a moment ago in that timeline. So a lot going on here for early August, folks. It's Monday. Some folks probably won't ever forget here. Hopefully, it's not too many people that have to really think back on this day, but a few folks are not going to forget this August 7th here, 2023 for a while. As we look here at the broad perspective, no destructive severe thunderstorm warnings right now. We did that one confirmed tornado warning in northern Pennsylvania, towards Susquehanna and Wayne counties there. And then you can see a bunch of severe thunderstorm warning in North Georgia and South Carolina. A lot going on there as well. I mean, we have a lot of considerable warnings. I'm looking at my other screen here as well. The latest count has 6 tornado warnings, including 5 that are radar indicated, 1 on the ground, though. It would seem, you see the tornado watch just bordering up, just not quite in New York City now at this point, but you see west of Philly, northwest of Philly, getting some strong rotation here, it would look like. You have some tornado parameters in there, so that's something to follow over the next little bit as we're looking in toward that area. And will be enhanced and moderate out there. A lot of these storms have gone through, not all of them, there's still a few stragglers here, but a lot of this stuff's gone to the moderate risk at this point. Had quite a bit of damage today. It's been a damaging day. I mean, not all about tornadoes, a lot about wind as we got infrared satellites, even more colder cloud tops toward the south here, which is concerning for these areas. Again, Atlanta and Charlotte getting hit hard. The Greenville, South Carolina area, it seems to be getting hit pretty hard as well. So again, just continuing to watch things with these storms as they continue to impact different parts of the country. Again, Washington D.C., some of the worst is trying to get past there now. We'll have to see if any more action comes in later, since we saw that straggling action there. The action that was kind of straggling back behind, and then you have a Wilmington there, southwest of Philly. Stronger winds could be moving in there. You see Philadelphia again at tornado warning southwest of town for now. Confirmed tornado Susquehanna and Wayne counties there. So you see all the heat down to the south as well. Some storms in our area, but nothing overwhelming right now. We'll watch to see if we get some more concern later on setting up. But we're probably pretty soon, unless I see something really pop out, and it's just about to switch over to maybe a radar stream of this for a while, and then wrap the stream unless something just extraordinary happens here, not in a good way. So that's probably how we're going to approach this here at this point, because we've been on for a couple hours for the national storyline. Almost looks like 2 hours here. So we'll keep watching things. I see a strong storm starting to get going in Jefferson County pretty quick here in our area. Of course, if we start getting warnings in our area, we may have to switch over. If we don't just post warnings, may have to go ahead and switch over to a stream just for some more local counties here for some concerns. So that's something to watch here. Not out of the question. We'll have to monitor that here. We'll have to monitor that here for sure as things go along. Jefferson County, some wind in excess of 40 possible in toward that area. Let's get over here. Strong storm there near I-10. Have some stuff, did have advisories here toward, and they might get more here soon. Maybe not, though. Not seeing as much wind here as we were around Palatka. That's some good news, but we'll keep watching that. But let's go back to national again. You see here on Susquehanna Depot. We're not really getting a debris signature right now, which is good, but we did have, it seemed like one a little while ago, of the tornado warning in Chester County. I know this is going to be some strong wind coming in. You see Wilmington. You see Philadelphia here could have winds that approach 70 later on there. We'll see. Hopefully, maybe, I mean, the risks don't matter this much, but going to the enhanced from the moderate risk here maybe could help us a little, maybe a little bit less parameters as we get over there, but still probably early enough to have some problems. So got to be careful. They're bowing out for sure. That's a concern for Philadelphia. So a heads up for you guys in Philadelphia. There could have some really strong wind here coming in. Let's see here, maybe about the next hour or so, give or take. So a heads up for you guys in Philly. It may not really come back unless something extraordinary is happening there, but we'll have this stream going at least a little longer, depending upon if we need to do some local coverage for our 62 counties that we really focus on here in the weather center. There's our local map real quick, our covered area for that. Again, just continuing to watch things here in the weather center as we get closer to that 620 benchmark right now. And let's check that storm in Virginia. I see Spotsylvania, and it's confusing me a little bit. Thinking Pennsylvania, but no. This is an area of rotation there south of Brokenburg, northeast of Mineral, north of Buckner, and west of the interstate there, which is I-95. So again, watching some areas of spin there. Can't tell if there's any debris. It could just be inflow there at this point. It's kind of an odd looking storm though there at this present time, but again, continuing to watch things. Again, we had the winds go through Washington D.C. You have Annapolis here. In Anne Arundel County, could get winds there closer to 60 miles an hour, some damaging winds. These could end up causing some trees and large branches to fall. That could cause injuries, or even worse, if you're in the wrong spot at the wrong time. So again, looking there around Philadelphia, let's check the terminal Doppler. See if we can start to see the winds from the terminal. Yeah, we can. I mean, see it coming toward Wilmington, 60-mile-an-hour winds, give or take, sun up here, but as we're headed toward Philly, really highly popular, are going to cause some power outages. Target your devices up if you're in the path of these storms as these head your way. So keep that in mind. I definitely got to keep that information in mind here as we progress here in that timeline. I don't want you guys to be letting your guard down here and things that do go along. So we're about to get a loop together. The radar, I'm going to put that up here and leave that up for a little while longer with no audio. And if we need to come back in with coverage, we will. But at least for now, the worst is past DC. The worst is past Atlanta, Charlotte. Doesn't mean some of these areas could get maybe another round. You never know. We have some accident. We had a tornado warning just expire in West Virginia. So you never know here if we get some more accident that tries to re-evolve. Probably not necessarily the anticipation for most of those spots. So we had all that damage in Knoxville earlier in eastern Tennessee. So it's been a busy day, and we're going to keep watching things. If something overwhelming is starting to take place, we'll cut back in here into this stream. If you're really serious, like a tornado emergency, or maybe when it's like 100 or 90 coming to a really highly populated area like New York City or Philly, something like that. So that's just kind of the reference point there. But you can keep this up just in case we have to come back on with another update. But again, just continuing to watch things here. In the Weather Center, we're trying to keep you, your friends, and your family safe and informed from a national perspective. Of course, if we have to cut in locally, we'll stay in this stream, we'll stop this one, go to a new one, and approach things in that regard from there. We'll set it up that way. We could just post things, though, and then keep this going. That's another option as well. We just got a new tornado warning in New York State now, Jefferson and Lewis counties in central New York. Have our loop go on now that I'm about to switch to in a moment. Let's just do it from this, I guess. We want to go a little bit further up on here. So it's that far northern tip. If you look real carefully here at the end, it may not even be quite on there actually. I might need to zoom out just a bit more. So it may kind of mess our loop up here, but you can see that at the end there. We paused it. Tornado warning there further up in New York State. Just popping right there. So again, continuing to watch things here. Possible tornado there. We're down to 3 tornado warnings. Wait a minute. Is that accurate? I don't know if that's accurate because that's kind of odd looking there because, okay, a few of them just came back on the board. So I think we had another one to see there with the computer just for a second. But okay, so yeah, we do have right now 6 tornado warnings on the board against Spotsylvania County in Virginia, Louisa County there in Virginia, Montgomery and Stanley counties in North Carolina, Chester County in Pennsylvania, Jefferson and Lewis in New York State, and in Oxford Ward, Pennsylvania, Susquehanna and Wayne. We had a confirmed tornado there a little while ago, of course. Always good to check with those local stations in these areas here. If you're toward these regions, when we have really big threats like this, we come on more for the stronger tornado threats, which we really don't have much of today, but it's just an anomalous situation. We want to make sure we're on here for a little bit. And of course, our local concerns are our top priority. But we'll leave this radar running. We'll leave this radar going here as the situation does go along. Again, just continuing to watch here different things across the country. All that wind set it up there toward Philadelphia next little bit, it would seem. So heads up for you guys. We also have again that tornado warning in New York State east of Watertown. That's very far up, almost to Canada there. The possible tornado that we were just talking about there on that map a moment ago. They're not far from Carthage, New York. So wide ranging pattern here. So many spots being impacted, and we're just gonna keep on tracking things. And if we have to come back, we will. But for now, I think that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it here in the timeline. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for trusting me here. I know I'm just making sure our loop is ready to go here for the viewers. If there's any questions real quick, don't see anything. Again, I just thank you so much for trusting me here. I know Top Cat was commenting earlier on. Thanks for them watching here as well. So again, just thanks so much for tuning in here for the time being. That's over on YouTube where they were commenting. They're on YouTube at Cloud Weather, and got the stream going there as well on Facebook. There, Casey Cloud WX, Cloud Weather, Twitter at Cloud Casey, the Twitch platform, and then cloudweather.com has an interactive radar available there as well. So a lot happening that we're trying to stay on top of here. It's a busy day in the Weather Center, record high temperatures across parts of our area as well. So a lot going on here, and we're trying to keep you up to date on it. I know New York State seeing the issues, seeing the excessive heat warnings here, seeing the winds coming toward Philadelphia there. You see that bow? That is a cause for concern there. You see Wilmington. Look at that. That's looking really serious. That's 80 miles an hour there on the winds. It may be a situation where some of the worst of the winds go just, I mean, they might go just south of Philly, really. They're going through Wilmington now, though, here in this part of the country. But we'll have to watch. This stuff could take a turn up there. Depends on the angle. I mean, it could get into towards South Philly there. It would look like from this perspective. So a heads up in Philly. This is headed your way. We're gonna have a warning there pretty soon. They might go 80 on it, but if they start going 90 or 100, and that's when we have to jump back in here. But okay, this issued a warning. So let me see what they went with before we wrap it. Then okay, they went 70 on this, so that's a little bit less, but still gonna have damage. Gonna have power outages around Philadelphia, Trenton, New Jersey, Camden, New Jersey. There, of course, Wilmington. We have Newark, New Jersey. There, we have areas in that vicinity being impacted by some really significant winds. Be interesting to see if we get stronger reports than 51 because those velocities support hurricane force type gusts here over the next little bit. Mount Holly, New Jersey, Trenton, New Jersey, Philadelphia, as we talked about. So some nasty weather coming on in here over the next little bit toward those very highly populated communities. Just got to be kind of mindful here of what's going on from that national perspective. And we're going to go ahead now and wrap it up